guys, we're back. It's another episode of the Fearless Pursuit of Freedom podcast, and today's guest is none other than Dave Marsh out of California. Dave, appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here. This is my first ever podcast that I've been on. And,
it's awesome. I'm honored.
Your name of your podcast kind of fits with how I view life. It's pretty perfect.
Yeah, it took me forever to think of a good name, and I had already started the Fearless companies, the Fearless Properties, Fearless Holdings, and then I knew the podcast had to be something fearless. So eventually there would be some Fearless empire, but for right now, it's little baby steps.
Yeah, you start somewhere, and then you never know what channels show up and different. It's kind of the street leads to everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's the evolution of the entrepreneurial growth. It's just one after another, and slowly growing. So
yeah, it's fun, and you kind of have to. I don't know. I can only speak for myself, but that shiny lure thing going on, shiny
object.
Ooh, and then no, I'm staying over here.
Yeah, I get I call it both the shiny object syndrome as well as the squirrel. I'm like, my mind is constantly squirrel, like ooh, looking every round, but then I go all these seminars around the country, and I'm like, hey, that land play is kind of cool. Or, oh man, mobile homes, that's super easy to get into. And that same deal. And but you found your niche in apartments, it sounds like.
Yeah, I kind of stumbled on it, kind of didn't stumble on it. I mean, it's the evolution of being involved in a lot of different businesses, and then having employees and having headaches and all that, and just kind of realizing that ideally why I want to be an entrepreneur is for the freedom, is for something that you can set up a system and be able to check on it still, but not have it run your life. And that's
right.
Me, where apartments, and they have so many benefits. You have, if you buy right, you're walking into equity on the front end. If you could press the value up with a number of different ways. It's just like running a business, and every building or every property is its own little business. And I guess I've learned a lot of that by working each one. And then the beauty of apartments is it's easy to scale, because you go from a 4-unit to a 40-unit pretty easy. It's just adding a zero. My dad always taught me, what's the difference between 10 grand and $1 million? It's just a couple zeros. Solve a bigger problem, get a bigger paycheck. So I started with a 4-unit in Northern California. And that thing kind of I got lucky, bought at the right time, but I was able to go in and raise the income and lower the expenses and run it like a business. And then, they were about to pass rent control on me. And I said, I don't want any part of that nonsense. Sold that and rolled into a 42-unit out in Alabama, which has been a phenomenal property from a money side, but it also was a lot of seminars, a lot of learning by, oh, wow, I get to solve this now. And being in California and owning something in Birmingham, Alabama, for one, they're completely different worlds, and they're on the opposite side of the country. I can't get a direct shot from San Francisco or Oakland to Birmingham very easy.
Right.
If I do, it's not the easiest place to get to, but man, the cash flow is, I sold my four unit at like a 5 cap, bought the thing at a 13 cap, and we pressed it up a little bit, fixed it up, and then refinanced at a 6.8 cap. It's just nonsense. I mean, I don't think I could sell it for even how much the loan is on it. It's a fun game.
Yeah, that's awesome. A 4-plex at a 5 cap, that's ridiculous. I mean, back in 2016, when I was a realtor, I was representing a lot of California buyers, and we would just do Skype calls through all these single families, and they would buy here and there, and they were buying at or above market value. It's just a placement of money. I mean, a lot of the Californians, they'll push their money out of state. I guess it makes plenty of sense, but I hadn't thought that they're even buying at the low caps there within California.
It's gotten really outrageous. I mean, at least where I'm at in Northern California, the tech industry has changed everything on San Francisco, Silicon Valley, and then it goes out from there.
Yeah.
And then most investors, not me, I'd rather have a better return on my money, but a lot of people don't feel comfortable if they can't drive to the property. So, I saw a lot of people coming. My property was about an hour north of San Francisco, right by Sonoma State College, and it's a decent area, but I guess it's a good area. But the reality is there's a lot of money sitting in San Francisco, and they're like, well, now San Francisco is too expensive. Now I want to go somewhere I can still get to. And I was happy to sell them something that actually worked out great for them. I could have done better I could have refinanced it and held, right? So that's a lesson I definitely learned there. And something my grandfather always taught me is you don't sell real estate. You buy it, you keep it. It costs you maybe 5-6% to sell it. I negotiated down to 5% because she was a family friend that sold my property. But the reality is I could have put it on Craigslist and sold it just as easy and saved the $45,000 and paid a real estate attorney to handle the transaction because they're buying the income. They're not buying something that they're even going to live in.
Right, man. So you're out of the San Francisco area, right?
Yep, just north. It's a town called Novato, but whenever I say Novato, people go, "Oh, what part of Nevada?"
Right.
I just say the San Francisco Bay Area. Yeah. I'm sandwiched right between San Francisco and Napa Valley, like right in the middle. It's pretty nice area. We get a little better weather and a little less of the drama of being in the city.
Yeah, no, that's great news. That's great. But I like how first one was local, learning the business, and then immediately dumped it. What's that? 3,000 miles away, and you forced systems and management in place.
Yeah. So, it's not like it just happened like that, right? I stumbled across going to the syndication events and trying to find a path that made more sense to me. For me, I'm not a huge fan of the syndication model. It's great for people it's great for a number of reasons. And the cons for me were, a lack of control on a lot of things and having to, anyways, I just chose to kind of hack that a little bit.
Yeah.
And I looked at, there's 3 things you need in my opinion. If you can cut it really simple down on multifamily, you need deal flow, and you need capital, and then you need a killer operator, whether that's a local partner that you make an equity share to where they have ownership and you don't have to go out and babysit them all the time, or a property management company or a single individual property manager. But I kind of looked at that 40 united up because property management was an option there. Being out of state, you need that. But my building wasn't in the most desirable neighborhood and it wasn't big enough for most property managers to take on. So I had to convince, I could only get, it was kind of a rush sale. I bought it off somebody else who was going to lose their EMD because they couldn't close because we both had a bad mentor. I actually lost $100K EMD with that same mentor because everything beyond the idea was a fairy tale. He didn't have the lending relationships. He didn't have any of the other stuff. He's just really good at selling. Probably the best salesman I've ever met, but he's selling fairy tales to people. It's not all passive. You need to do things on top of just acquiring an asset.
Yeah.
So I got a really good deal because I was helping a friend of mine save his investor's EMD. I ended up giving him a $25K wholesale fee.
Correct. Yeah.
And then I said, look, you're going to have to help me stay on and fix this in case anything goes wrong. The only guy I could get to show up at the property, because we were in a really tight window, the only guy I could get to show up at the property to walk it with us to be a property manager became my property manager by default.
Yeah.
But there was just so much of a spread on this thing that I knew we could make money. We could flip it. We could do a lot of things. So if you will take this property on, we're interested in buying a lot in the area. So that's why he was open to it. He's like, okay, I'll only take it on because you tell me you're going to buy more stuff.
Right.
I would never take on this building in this neighborhood at this unit size if it wasn't for that. But it was 100% occupied, and it was market rent was probably $600, and this guy was getting $650 a unit. I was like, wow, this is a dream. If this guy put it on the market,
yeah,
get 300 grand more than he's selling it to us for.
Right.
So
That's great.
Yeah. We
Is
bought
this
it
the
for 1.1. We put 300 into it over a year
Wow.
and reappraised it at, you have to wait a year and a day for a value-based refinance. We could have had it done in 6 months. We were actually 4 months into it and started the refinance process because the lending broker said, yeah, we can get you value-based. And what I realized is every broker tells you whatever you want to hear in order to get your business. And
Yeah.
that wasn't the case. So 3 months later, we had to just cancel the refinance. I'm like, sorry, I can wait another 5 months and get this much more out of the deal versus cost basis. So, 80% of your cost basis, you're still leaving cash in the deal. 80% of the value basis, we were able to refinance at a 2.46. We're all in for 1.4. We pulled 1.8 out. And I just got off the broker because I thought about selling this property because it's so far away and we have better deal flow and systems and a team in a different market. And the guy's like, yeah, you refinanced, you took 42K a door out of that thing. The best I could get you. I would put it on the market for 35. The best you're going to get is 40. So you might as well keep it. I'm like, all right, cool. Because anyways, long-winded answer.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I mean, if it's cash flowing, and I mean, I think this is the property you've referred to the past couple of weeks with me that's got some issues with tenants, but it's cash flowing. It's a bit of a headache, but your manager sounds like she's hanging on. And
that was the reason I thought about selling it. So I suffered through this first guy for a long time and kept making excuses for him. The guy that I bought the building off of said, look, man, let me try to work with him. That was January last year. He's like, give me 3 months. And then after those 3 months, I'm like, okay, you're ready to fire him now too, right? So he went out luckily to look at a different property down the street, met the property manager on the walkthrough and said, oh my goodness, you are the dream. Will you take on our 42 unit? So she came over. She got more done in 3 weeks than the other guy got done in 8 months.
Really?
He has the relationships for the rehabs because she took it on as a side project from a 32. She works for a company that has 3,200 doors in the area, and she wants to get away from them. So she's like, "Oh, I'll do this on the side for a deal." But she called me on my birthday in January. I'm on my way to Tahoe, and she just starts crying. It's a Saturday, and I'm like, "Oh no," because without her, I'm up a creek, right?
Right.
I care about people too.
Yeah.
I care about the tenants. We go above and beyond to make their lives better, but all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy, because the other guy they knew for 30 years, but they just treat her like junk a lot of the time. Not all of them, but enough of them are like junk that she gets run down. And so I just kind of walked her through that, and I had a great call with her actually a couple of days ago when I realized I definitely am keeping the building. And I said, hey, we're going to take care of the tenants, but you're family to me. You matter a lot, and you don't have to put up with being spoken to this way, or our property is not going to be treated that way. So if these certain tenants don't want to act a certain way, that they don't want to act like adults, then we're going to have to treat them like children.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because I think a lot of those tenants were just raised in an environment where that's what was acceptable.
Right.
Fortunately, in that neighborhood, there's plenty of, houses that could just probably be torn down.
Well, I mean, again, if being as manager, I mean, there's probably a lot of housing laws that go along with these types of deals. But I mean, if they're causing destruction and they are abiding by the management rules, then I mean, is it fair game in the apartment world? I mean, how's the eviction on somebody that's just not treating the proper right, not just being an ass in general?
The reason I got out of California was that potential for a headache, right? With rent control, rent control. There's a number of reasons we won't waste time on that make that a nightmare for the owner of the property. Not just because you can't raise rent. That part, who cares? If the thing's cash flowing, great. I'm not greedy, but because you might, in California, that person might not pay rent for 9 months, and you have to pay them all this money to get them out, and all the rules favor the poor little tenant. And the business owner is looked at as like, I don't know, Scrooge McDuck who's just swimming in his money, and that's not reality. These are businesses. So Out there, it's better, but the processes are very slow. So an eviction can take you 3 months where they're not paying. And we rent our units now for about $700 is market rate a month. So it'll be 3 months of no payments and $700 to get somebody out. That's $2,800. So now we just say, hey, look, rather than you having, to have this eviction on your record and to have your credit destroyed, how about we give you $500 and we understand life happens. You go find it, cash for keys. You go find it somewhere else to live.
Mm-hmm.
You have it till the end of the month, or you have the next 2 weeks. Leave the place as nice as you can, because that's how you're going to get the $500.
Yeah.
We give them cash for keys. They get to go start fresh somewhere. We get to start fresh, and we save 3 months of a headache and $2,300.
Yeah.
Lawyers and all that nonsense, and not just the headache of the money, but those are the tenants that my property manager just gets worn down by. So it releases a lot of negativity and clears for a new space. It's like decluttering your house,
Right. Well, saving your management, saving your business, and then ultimately it's cleaning up a lot of the apartment people I hang out with. There's a what do they call that? Like every apartment has its own feel, its own neighborhood vibe. And so if you got the one guy over here raising a ruckus and partying and trashing the place, it really brings down the morale of the community. So if you boot him out, then you have a happy community again.
And it took us a little while to get there, but we're pretty much there. I talked to her the other day. She's like, yeah, I think we have one tenant, because we now have one tenant who kind of is our liaison of the property that people rent off at her house, and she's the go-between the property manager. We have had to create systems because we don't have a big management company. It's one property. I'm like, you need to have someone on site so you don't have to drive over and pick up rent all the time and do all this nonsense.
Right.
Somebody that they can go to with complaints so they're not blowing up your phone all the time.
Right.
But that's helped. And then, I think that liaison said, I think this is the last person that needs to go. And it's somebody's wife or girlfriend that's not even on the lease. So there's those trickiness. Mm-hmm. But I told my property manager, hey, write up a letter that says, look, this is the kind of stuff that won't be tolerated. Mm-hmm. I'm a human being. I won't be spoken to like this. Our property, we put a lot of money into it. And you can't treat your neighbors like that. So like you're saying,
right.
The neighborhood is the culture of our property.
Right.
And everybody, even Section 8 or anybody that comes by our property, they're like, wow, this thing's great. It's this shining star in a neighborhood that's, it's getting there. They just got a Starbucks. When I was buying the building off the guy, he's like, yeah, we're getting a Starbucks. And I was like, wow, that's great. And they're putting in an Amazon, warehouse fulfillment center close down the road. And they got a hotel, their first ever hotel in this little suburb of Birmingham. So really? Things are happening, but you really have to train out. It's unfortunate, but you have to train your tenants what's acceptable and what's not. Kind of like at a school when the new class comes in.
Well, right. Otherwise, you end up being that motivated seller because you couldn't control your property and its environment and community.
Yeah, and the other people that are paying the rent on time and that respect everything, they deserve better than some of this stuff. And unfortunately, the entitlement side of some of the programs we work with, where people are getting free rent, they start to, they don't have a very clear vision of reality.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, you need to do this and that because I pay my rent on time every month. And I'm like, sorry, you pay your rent? Uncle Sammy pays your rent,
Right. That's funny. Well, that's the America we live in right now. A lot of entitlement problems, but
yeah. And you know what? It is what it is. I tried. Unfortunately, I got political about it the other day when I was frustrated, and I thankfully took that post down.
Yeah.
But which actually was interesting. I'm a big proponent of energy, and we are magnets and all that. And that post that was on a Saturday morning, I was frustrated. I put it up, and then I go to the gym and I'm trying to lift weights, and usually I can lift more weight when I'm benching or whatever. And my energy was drained. I was like, I don't care if my views are correct or if I want to make a stand against this nonsense. I can't have that energy vampire in my life of talking nonsense. I just want to attract great stuff, like connecting with you or all these different people. I seem to be attracting my tribe, and I'll just repel the others by not engaging.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm having to do that a lot. When I first started building my social presence, I was adding anybody with a heartbeat. At first it was anybody in DFW. And then I started realizing I need to expand nationwide. And then I got to 5,000 people. I was like, what am I doing with this? I need to like really narrow in the people I associate with social media and in person. And especially here lately, I'm like, my favorite thing to do nowadays, I see a stupid post, just delete that person. I'm not even going to mess with it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm in a group and it's just constant bickering and bashing people, I'm like, God, I got to leave this group or at least unfollow it. Because the second you leave a group like that, then you get called out in the group for being the little sissy that jumps out of the group. And I'm like, man, so you got to like unfollow these things and unfollow people. And if you block them, you get called out. So I'm like, I don't even know I'm on Facebook, but it's good branding.
It's unfortunate, but the Facebook world is just getting warped. And so it's all good. I think there are those couple of edits and tweaks where we're decluttering, right?
Yeah.
That's what my dad had a big seminar company, and in the 4th level one, it's a 2-month program, and we show up and you spend a weekend together, and then you get a small group of 5 people, and then work on crazy big goals, and you have like 4 different categories. But there's 3 like main themes along the way. It's like honor yourself, and make choices that honor you and your family and this and that. One of them is decluttering. Like get the junk out of your space, because like your mental space, even if you have a broken toaster in an oven or in the garage, that you're going to think it might be out of sight, but it's still there in your mind. Like, I got to get that done. I got to get that. So just declutter all that. And for me, it's recently I just started spending 20 to 30 minutes a day focusing on that. Okay, pause everything. What can I cleanse? What can I get rid of? It started with my email inbox, unsubscribe. And then it went
it's my favorite right now. I love unsubscribing from emails.
I get like 3 in this box and 3 in that box. And I'm like, okay, there's a couple I do like that add positivity, right? So the same thing with Facebook is, I've had to unfriend, I blocked my brother because just whatever. I won't get into that story.
Right.
Love him, but he sees me as his little brother, and he can tell me how to run my life. And I'm like, sorry. But I had to unfriend a lot of people that, I'm still friends with. I just don't want to see your political views and all your nonsense. And then I had to choose out of a lot of even these multifamily groups, because I'm like, oh, you poor individuals who you're believing this guru's nonsense. That guy hosed me for 130 grand. That guy hosed me for 130 grand. And I'm like, I don't like to be cynical, but I also like to try to help people and protect them going down that path. And even that's too exhausting, because I'll put up a post about what happened, and then all these Facebook messages, hey, who was it? Hey, blah, blah. I'm like, why am I creating this for myself? So,
well, like you said, you go to the gym and you're like, well, man, last week I was benching like 245. What the hell? Oh, I can't even put up 200 right now. And then you're like, because the whole time you're trying to get that rep, you're like, shit, I got this closing, I got this a-hole over here talking shit, and then I got this thing, and then depending on the political climate, somebody's BSing about the wall. It's like, holy crap. And then the email thing, I thought was beautiful, because that's like my favorite thing right now is I get this junk email. It used to be just delete, but I'm like, I never want to see it again. I'm going to unsubscribe from everything.
Yeah. And then you unsubscribe, it turns into like, they keep popping up. I'm like, okay, spam and unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Like, how are these? They're forcing it through still. So and it's been interesting. I got the squirrel thing really big. It probably even shows up when watching this video. But I've been doing that in a lot of different areas, and it's reduced the overwhelm. My space feels more calm and meditative now. Because I learned a thing called transcendental meditation back when I lived in LA, and basically the concept is the ocean. Like, your mind is like the ocean, and up top there's all this noise and waves and boats going by and all this stuff. Well, the meditation was to learn to go down deeper and deeper away from the noise,
right?
Turn off the noise, but at the bottom of the ocean, there's nothing. It's silence. It's calm. and maybe like one bubble will pop and it'll slowly drift up out of the way. And that's like reducing the noise. It's a lovely concept. You're never gonna be fully away from the noise, but you do have choice. We all have choice of what I choose to focus on. And I just had this thought when I was going to look into real estate before I came home to do this call this morning. And I'm like, wow, our mind is the most valuable mental real estate. It's our mental real estate. Choose to cultivate it very well, guard it, whatever that is for you. If it's, whatever those concepts are that guard and block out bad, and then constantly look at how you can improve it and make it better by, knocking down that wall and rehabbing that and making it better and adding more value. And then look at, how can you plant better plants and constantly yank the weeds. So that's kind of what I see, getting rid of the email or cleaning up my Facebook notifications or the 4,000 different apps that I have on my phone, and most of them do the same thing. I'm like, okay, do I need Trello and Slack and Monday and this and that? Because every group that I'm in has the group me and Telegram. I'm like, goodness gracious, can we just combine them all? Can Google just acquire everybody and put them
eventually
all in one box?
Yeah. Same thing for me. Is just I realized there's too much of me being spread out. So at first it was just get out of Facebook, and finally I turned off the notifications. Then it was the emails, and then all day yesterday I spent clearing my desk, and typically it's pretty clean, but like the past month has been a stress bomb for me. So there's like shit piling up all over, and I'm like, man. So finally last night I stayed up till 1. My desk is clean. And I was like, I can go to sleep now. That was a nice feeling.
Well done, sir. Mine is on its way. Yeah. The fun thing is I just moved into this new house and it's been storming like crazy. It's like kind of fun with, rain pattering on the skylight and everything. But I was just using I've learned now this isn't the smartest thing to do, but we have a fireplace and I'm just like, it's like empty a box, I rip it apart, I put it in the fireplace. And now I'm taking all these extra files and everything. I'm like, burn it.
Yeah, that's funny.
Like release this from my space. But yeah, man, I've just decided decluttering is the first thing I need to do. Like my business, get all the noise out of the way, get my business affairs in order. And that exists, in the business world too. I'm all about JVing and bringing people into the fold because, I don't need 100% of everything. You don't need more than X amount per month. And once you have more than that, it's just a game, right? So I'm bringing all these different people and I'm like, you're part of my tribe. You're part of my tribe. Oh man, we get along. Or this chick, we speak the same language. And then somebody F's up and they take advantage of it. So I'm like, you got to go, and I'm really quick to cut those people now. I've known you for 20 years. You came in and acted in a way that doesn't work for me. So I don't want to do business with you anymore. I don't care if you have all the resources I need because this person might have less resources, but they have better energy, we can learn and grow together
100%.
real easy. Your old track record doesn't mean dick anymore. I'm sorry, but you're the head of your Mason Lodge and you have this track record and this amount of money and this net worth, and you think you can come in here at the final hour and change the rules on me? No. My game. Love you enough to release you from my life and love myself enough to say, hey man, this just doesn't work. We can
you don't need it.
Have a steak and have a beer or whatever that is, but I can't do business with you because you want to control everything too much.
Yeah.
And not that I'm a control freak. I just can't have, if you get too many of the people that are the same in the space, friction, power struggle. And it's like, whoa, man. Go do your game, I'll do my game. But I do see the world as like this big, or I see all my different businesses as like a pie, right? And I can share, there's plenty of the pie for everybody. We can just get better at the systems and grow, like in multifamily. And then if there's not enough in that pie, let's just get another pie,
Right.
I think there's plenty of money to go around for everybody. And I just want to be connected and do business and interact with the people that excite me. Like I hardly sleep anymore. I quit drinking booze and like I'll have a glass of wine every now and then. That was a declutter for me because it just led to a lot of negative thoughts. No, if you want to drink booze, you want to drink wine, whatever, power to you. But for me,
Right.
it doesn't work as well. And so it's freed up a lot of my energy to focus on all these different things. And based on that, I've attracted all these, I don't even know where I was going with this, but it's I don't know. It's clarified a lot of things, and that's what's led to me kind of decluttering. It was a detoxing of my brain first that led to a detoxing of my environment, and then a
Right.
detoxing of my business relationships, and detoxing of anything. But we don't need a lot of stuff, and we don't need too many things going on. Keep
Yeah.
it just as simple. I think, as Einstein quote, make it as simple as you can, but not simpler.
Right. Yeah. One of my favorite hashtags nowadays is healthy mind, healthy body. And if you can get that centered out, if you can control the thoughts and the things that go into your mind, you can control what you put out. And that goes back into, the gym life and family life and business life. Everything's even better if you can control what's going in your mind. So releasing that clutter, decluttering, and it helps with, the people you're doing business as well. Because you've been talking lately about a hedge. You're starting a fund for raising capital, and for my instance, it was storage, but you want to do multifamily and find those people that don't cloud and clutter your mind and consume your thoughts with, God, this guy's a pain in the rear to deal with, and stuff like that. And that's part of this evolution, is if you can clear your own thoughts and really work on yourself, everything else starts to unfold better.
Definitely.
Issues.
I mean, I was blessed enough to grow up in this personal growth world. Like my stepdad, who raised me since I was, he's pretty much all I ever knew as like a father figure. My father is, anyways, I grew up under my stepdad who had, this is funny, it's actually his book right here. If how-tos were enough, we would all be skinny, rich, and happy. It's not about the how-tos, it's about your execution. But I got to be around a lot of that personal growth world, and it's a fun addiction to be involved in, right? Is like, how can I constantly get better and improve and remove this and add this? Because when you do declutter something, guess what's there? There's space now that can be filled up with something better.
Yeah, helping people.
That exists in your mind, that exists in your relationships, that exists in your environment around you. I mean, all we are is energy and matter. So we're just energy. So you are a magnet for whatever it is. Like one of the cool things that I do every morning, I think I learned it from a Tony Robbins seminar, was to get yourself on the vibration of abundance. If you start your day, most people roll out of bed and they go, oh crap. They just let the world come into them. They look at their phone and go, oh man, all this stuff. Well, don't go right there,
Yeah.
Choose those, at least the first 5 minutes when your feet hit the floor. Choose 3 things you're grateful for, and they have to be different every day. And 2 of them have to be just basic little things. One of them can be a big one, but 2 of them have to be so simple, like a paperclip, or socks, or something even smaller than that. But you start to focus on that. Now you're grateful. Grateful is the vibration of abundance, and you're also not consumed by the bullshit. Like, oh my gosh, I gotta handle this. It's like, whatever your problems are that you think are so tough are not that bad. You live in this little bubble nowadays where we don't have to chase our food. We don't have to do really anything, And we're all bitching and moaning about this and that. It's like, just go travel, go to a third world country, and you'll come home and be like, oh my goodness.
You have no idea.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you probably saw my post the other day. It was like 90% I think of Americans are just oblivious, ignorant to the fact that although some people are definitely in some dire needs here, and there's a lot of problems in America, it isn't anything compared to all these other third world countries. Most of Africa is beyond impoverished to where even our minds can comprehend being here in America. Peru, Philippines, there's all these areas where it's mind boggling. The more I travel, the more.
Yeah, not even the poverty alone. Yeah, we don't. Our lowest level of poverty, for one, is like you're rich in another country, but we also don't experience war. 9/11 happened, right? And these random terrorist things happen. But imagine growing up in the Middle East where there's just bombs popping off all the time.
Yeah. Just year after, decades of civil wars, one religion fighting another religion.
Or in Africa where they're coming through and they're stealing the kids and they're turning them into child soldiers and drugging them up. Like, imagine all of that and then complain about how you stubbed your toe or you have to wait 10 minutes in line to get your coffee because you're like a little crackhead who needs his Starbucks.
Yeah.
Or somebody cut you off in traffic. Oh, boo-hoo, dude. It's going to take you or somebody. It's amazing. Unfortunately, we're just products of our environment. That goes for not how you're raised, but just what is around you. And that's why I'm decluttering and detoxing, because it's amazing. If you don't choose your environment very specifically, then you're just going to be in a reactive state to whatever's coming at you.
Right.
And most people we're not taught any of this stuff in school. We're not taught that because it's foo-foo hippie crap, right? No, it's not. That's what I love about podcasts, right? Instead of news and I don't watch sports anymore. Go play sports, When I used to gamble, love sports, because it's juice, it's action.
Yeah.
But why am I going to celebrate some other man's accomplishments? We won the game. No, you didn't. You're not on the team. And I'm not going to wear your hat around and you're like, I'm this fan and that fan. Yeah, I'm proud of where I come from and I'm happy if my team wins, but I'm not involved in that,
Right.
So podcasts and the evolution that now exists there, where we don't have to listen to ads, we don't get marketed to, we don't get force-fed their propaganda, whether it's marketing or politics or whatever it is. We get to choose what we put into our minds now. And I already want to go to bed half the time because I'm listening to some podcast and I'm working on something and I'm like, wow, that's an exciting idea. And I'm like more motivated than I was before. And now my brain won't shut off. So I'm just going to go do some research on that health hack or edit this. We live in the most exciting time ever. It's getting kind of crazy how fast everything moves. But if you're broke today, I'm sorry. This might be hard to hear, but if you're broke and you have an internet connection, you have any free time on your hands, it's now your fault. Because Google and YouTube, I call it YouTube University, how to do anything by 400 different people. And you don't have to go pay for coaching or pay for this program because it's all free.
Yeah.
It's all on there. And you might have to edit and tweak and take your lumps along the way in business, but you're not broke for a lack of resources that are available. You're broke because of a lack of resourcefulness or a mindset that's just torching your life that you probably didn't even know you're being run by because you're just a product of how you were raised,
Right. Yeah, that's one thing I'm always telling people around me is it's 100% about mindset. I don't like to categorize everybody as a mindset issue is why they're in the situation they're in, because some people do have, a lot of family or medical problems that inhibit them to be able to grow in the fashion they want to. But man, the opportunity is just so beyond abundant in America that most people should be able to get themselves out of the situation they're in, no matter the hardships.
And I'm a little blunt and a little harsh about it, and I lump a lot of things and I speak in generalities, but there's some people that are true victims. And man, when you start thinking about it, it's like, wow, that exists in today's world, like sex trafficking and
dude, it's crazy in Dallas, actually.
Yeah, that's the stuff we don't see on the news. It's the real negative crap that's happening out there. You're like, wow. And so that's where I'm at now is like, okay, I can help and inspire people and we can collaborate on business. And that's all good and fun. And let's be as healthy as we want to be because I think we can live to be like 180 years old based on the advances in medicine that are going to happen, and technology meets medicine. And but the more I collaborate in business, is about how can we affect change and help the world. My dad had a 500-year plan, because his whole life was about service. He was top in his class at West Point in law, and he's technically my stepdad, right? Different last name, but I call him my dad because he's the man who raised me. He's the man who took care of my needs financially.
Right.
And the guy I would call for advice. And unfortunately, he died 8 years ago. He's not here, but he lives on in his books and his seminar company and his 500-year plan. But his whole life was about, how do I help other people? Like, we bought him a freaking big screen one Christmas, and we had a big red bow on it. He walked by it like 8 times and didn't even see it because he was so in the zone on change and help. You would drive by him on a 2-lane road coming back to the house, and he'd be like honk and wave, and he's so in the zone he didn't even see you because he's thinking and trying to. And I'd be like honking and waving. My friends are like, I don't think your dad likes you, man.
That's funny.
Like, no, man, he's just tunnel vision. He's just focused, man.
Yeah.
And so I guess that was a tangent, but money's great, but it's just a tool. And the more we have of it, the more. I'm not super biblical, but my parents were, and we were raised like, be a good steward of the money, and to whom much is given, much is expected. And if you have all this opportunity, you should find a way to affect change positively and to help other people. And that's the only thing that's ever really made me fulfilled. I've gotten extremely high off of business success. 500 grand moved into my account when I sold my 4-unit building. And knowing me, the degenerate, like gambling alcoholic that I used to be, that just wanted to travel and party and wasn't focused and was on the wrong path, I was scared shitless about that 500 grand coming into my account. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't have access to this. I'm going to torch it. And in 6 months, it was gone. I would trade it, and I did all this stupid crap. I didn't even buy any cool shit. I just went on a crazy day trading deep dive, and I'm like, wow, I need to get away from this. This is a bad thing. But I manifested that out of my fear of it, right? But now when I make money, so anyways, the tangent that I got off of was, when I was 17, we got an opportunity. I was in some like Interact club at high school, and it was a small Rotary type thing. And we went to Mexico, and we built houses, what we call houses. They were like, I don't know, 5x10 shack with a dirt floor, sometimes they would put concrete in, chicken wire windows, corrugated cardboard siding, and a tin roof. And 5 people were going to live in this thing. And the dad left at the crack of dawn, and he got home right before the sun went down and worked all day in the sugarcane field, cutting down sugarcane. Comes back covered in soot and made 40 cents a day. Granted, this was like 1998, right? But I don't think inflation made that much more than 40 cents today. No. I mean, it definitely. But the thing I saw was that they were happier than most of the people that I got to be around, and my dad being a speaker, like the really rich people that were just miserable because they weren't fulfilled. These people didn't know what they didn't have. And that was the happiest I've ever felt, was when I helped them without wanting anything in return. Like, I got to see the smile on this little lady's face. I don't like eating beans. They're just some food I don't like. She bean and flour tortillas, homemade, and hand them to us, and I'd just choke it down with a big old smile on my face, because I'm like amazed at the generosity of somebody who has nothing. And then the greed of somebody who has everything. And to me, what actually makes me happy and fulfilled is to help other people. And that's why I try to write posts and inspire or help guide people away from these expensive coaching programs where they're going to lose all this freaking money, or not. Maybe they're going to kill it. But I try to help people with the lumps that I've taken, avoid those same lumps. But good luck, man. Like, everybody's an excited entrepreneur, and we're going to believe whatever fairy tale because we want to believe in that thing. We'll see the signs. We'll even log in online, and it'll say, dude, stay away. This guy scammed me out of money. And you're like, no, that's just your experience. That's not my experience. Because we want to believe in that end result. Anyways, I talk a lot, man.
No, it's great. No, I mean, your mind operates like mine. It's always in Ashley was just getting on me earlier because I was responding to an email about a closing we've got today, and I started saying something, and then as I'm typing my email, I started thinking about something else, and then I lost my conversation with her, and my mind was being pulled in like 3 different directions, and then I walked away, and in my mind, I finished that conversation. She was like, "Hey, you gonna finish that sentence?" I'm like, "Oh, right, yeah."
It happens to me all the time. My girlfriend Kyla does the same thing. She's like, wow. She's like, just be here with me. I'm like, I wish it worked like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't for me. Granted, I probably should stay away from caffeine. And what I've found really works for me nowadays is these nootropics. It helps like hyper focus my mind without the crazy caffeine high. But I actually went and had my brain scanned. Dr. Amen, he's this guy who teaches about ADD and all this stuff. AE, it's like Amen, AMEN.
Yeah.
And I had my brain scanned in San Francisco because I'm like, dude, I don't think I'm normal, right? So like I don't want to call it ADD because if you hyper focus that ADD, it's a superpower. It's not a negative thing, right?
Right.
So people around you, they're like, oh, you're all over the place. I'm like, no, I just
to you, I am, but to me, it's like normal.
Yeah. So the cool thing about this, I mean, it costs a couple grand to do it, but one day you can't have any caffeine on these days, alcohol or different depressants. But one day you go in and you sit in a room and there's a computer screen and you have a mouse. And every time this thing comes up, you hit the mouse, right? So you try to trick you're in a hyper-focused state for that hour. Then you go right in and get a CAT scan, and they analyze how your brain's firing. Where's the energy? What's going on? And then the next day you go in and you just kick back in a recliner in like a kind of dark room and you just chill it. And then
my mind would go bonkers.
And they scan your brain again, right?
Yeah.
And most people, the scans, they look somewhat different, right? Like, okay, relaxed and hyper-focused. They should be different. For me, same exact thing. They're like, wow, and you talk about your history and your history of have you had addiction issues or any of this stuff. They're like, I'm like, yeah, I used to black out drink all the time, and it's like probably because you're trying to shut off your brain. The second you get some booze in yourself, your brain's like, okay, let's get a little freedom and a little relaxation. Because boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Like fireworks going on. I'm sure you experience like fireworks shooting off in your brain. And I can never. I have the same problem. Like, man, what did I walk in this room to do? Why did I open this computer?
Right.
Crazy.
No, that happens a lot, especially when I'm down at like a meeting or a lunch with somebody, and unless they have me talking the whole time, and then so if I'm listening to them, I'm so concentrated on paying attention to what they're telling me, but I'm thinking about the next transaction or what marketing I want to do or what Ashley said or when the girls are coming home from school. Or it's like, I wish sometimes I think I play it pretty well and I harness it, but sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I could just like shut that crap off so I can concentrate on things.
That's where the transcendental meditation, you have to pay $1,000 for their thing, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to pay $1,000 so that I have a method. Because if you just go on YouTube and you try to learn about meditation, it's like learning about wholesaling or anything else. There's so many different things. I need a clear path. And TM, they call it, I found out about it because I kept coming across it in different podcasts, like Howard Stern, he's huge on it. He's like, the reason I'm so productive. Jerry Seinfeld said, the reason I was able to produce and write and be the actor and all this stuff is because when everybody else, you do it for 20 minutes when you first wake up, and then you do it for 20 minutes in the early afternoon to to settle back down and recharge again, because it creates focus and energy. And so he would say every day when everybody else on set would go to lunch, I would go in the other room and do my TM.
Yeah.
Because it allowed me to get more done and be more effective and kind of shut down the noise a little bit. Yeah. So, I do what works for you, and I always tell people, I learned this from, I think like a financial advisor I talked to. He's like, hey man, my opinion's worth what you're paying for it, which is zero, but this is what I would do.
Yeah.
So I think transcendental meditation is a great hack. So yeah, And on the hacking kind of thing, like we're starting our own mastermind, whatever that team ends up being, attracting the right people. And I don't really care. I just want to create a movement of clarity for people to create wealth and think life differently and all that stuff.
Right.
But we're going to call it Elite Wealth Hacking Mastermind, because like all I see myself as in podcasts or anything is we're just hacking, right? We're trying to find a better way to do stuff or tweak stuff, whether it's your health, whether it's your wealth, whether it's your knowledge, your relationships with love, whatever it is, you model success. That's what I learned I'm a master practitioner trainer in neuro-linguistic programming. I'm like, cool, man, I got a certificate. I'm not going to teach people and train people on that, but NLP is this amazing study of the brain and modeling success. Why did that work? Reverse engineer, break it down, and then go do it. And if you can do it even better, great. But any success can be modeled, whether it's the 80-year-old people that are still in love like they're like high school kids, which is just crazy to me because I'm not that good at relationships.
Right. Yeah.
Everything you can model success.
Yeah. Figure out what worked, and then, like you said, dial back and not necessarily, what they say about the wheel. Don't reinvent the wheel, and just
learn how it works and learn how to build one just like it, right? Like learn how to take the centerpiece and add the right spokes, and nothing's like, there's new crap coming up all the time, but in the personal development space, there's nothing new. I'm sorry. It's all repackaged. Tony Robbins, even the guy read 4,000 books and studies psychology like crazy. So he understands people. And then he went out and created his thing, it's all regurgitated information, whether it's from Napoleon Hill's stuff. My dad was he worked for a company called PSI Network, Personal Success Institute, World, and the Bob Proctors. A lot of people have come out of that. But his mentor used to say, hey, I want you to read this book, it's the best business book ever written. And this is back, like 80s, right? So it wasn't all this overwhelm of information. There was no internet. And he's like, if I give you this book, though, you have to promise to read it. And he kept, keeping it over here, dangling the carrot. And he's like, fine, man, what's the book? He's like, no, you're not ready for it. So he made it so much of like once I give it to you, you're going to read it thing.
Right.
That he finally said, okay, go get and I'm not religious or, I believe in spirituality, but he said, go get a King James red letter Bible and read that cover to cover and focus on how it applies to business. Like that guy would bust it out in the middle of meetings and just like flip to something and go, hey, let's apply this principle to this business transaction. And they would all just dissect it. Because anyways, blah, blah, blah. No. But hack stuff and just connect with awesome people, like.
I'll say flourish in life, flourish in business, and ultimately back to the healthy mind, healthy life. And why else are we here but to enjoy ourselves and our company around us? It's nice to have money. The other day I was on a TV show, or it's a YouTube TV show, Facebook TV show, and I mentioned that, why are we here? Ultimately, at the end of the day, let's say we're on the way to go to the next apartment closing or whatever, and you get in an accident. When you're chilling in that ambulance on the way to hospital, you're not thinking about that apartment transaction anymore. You're thinking about all the relationships that you're in, which ones you screwed up, which ones are good, which ones you need to work on, and all the actual important things in life. And so, I'm glad we had the conversation we've had, because it's about, mind body connection and decluttering of your life to live. Because you could be, as like you said before, you can be as rich as you can. You can have your own private island and you're freaking flying a private jet to it. But if your mind is so cluttered and you can't enjoy your private island, what's the point?
Yeah, that happens. I think that's the thing, is once you get hurt, you realize, like, even if you hurt your back, you realize how much you use it, right?
Yeah.
But the second you get injured or some bad thing happens, you realize that money doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's your relationships and who's there for you when you need them.
Yeah.
And it is your health. And that can be taken from us like that in an instant.
Mhm.
So my dad's company, just to give a shameless little plug there, because he's the reason why I'm here, was called, if you go to KLEMMER.com, Clemmer.com, it's just kind of hacking relationships and business and all that, but in the experiential seminar space. But he had a first day, last day attitude, kind of like I wake up with a gratitude thing.
Yeah.
Today's the first day and the last day of the rest of your life. If you don't wake up tomorrow, who are you going to tell you love them? Who are you going to, like his dad never said, I love you. Nowadays we have the love little thing on people's posts. And I'm like, spread love. That's great. Like life for love. I love that thing.
Yeah.
It's different. Back in the day, his dad, while he was alive, never said, I love you, but he made sure that we all knew, that he loved us, and he approached every day with that. So that's the last day. Make sure that if you die, if you don't show up, wake up tomorrow, that you're looking at how you're remembered and your legacy, and you're making sure people or that means something to you, know that they mean something to you. But also, you're waking up every day like, yesterday doesn't matter. Your resume doesn't matter. Today's the first day of the rest of my life, So what am I going to do today that, is exciting and new and different? So I don't always live those principles. They come out in these kinds of conversations, but I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
learned that over here, but
Right. Well, that brings me to, I ask everybody, and I'm watching time here and I don't want to keep you too long. We've both got a lot to do today, but it brings me to my last question I ask everybody. And I like to ask this question to bring what typically is a more business related conversation to a more here and now. And that question is, if you had 6 months to live, what would you do with it?
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would I do with it? That's a great way to look at life. And that's good question. And I think that's a good one to ask anybody you meet on a plane or anything too.
Yeah.
What would I do with it? I would obviously spend a lot of time with the family and the people that I care about. We'd probably travel more. We'd go on more trips. I'd invite the people that I want to be around on stuff.
Yeah.
And I would turn off some more of the noise. I would probably hyper focus even down to like I'm involved in e-com and I'm involved in masterminds and all this stuff, because it's exciting in apartments. But I'd probably just focus more on, okay, get the income as passive as possible. And then I'd make sure that I went and affected change in a positive way. Like I took all my money and I made sure that my will was really clean so that I know, these people are going to be taken care of, but this money's going to this cause, and this is the person running it. This is the person who's responsible just for distributing it and making sure that it's not about my ego, like I want to be remembered a certain way. It's like, no, you want to know that my dad's 500-year plan was that I wanted to have a positive, lasting effect on the world so that even when I'm gone, the ripple effects of what I started just keep going. And that happens with his seminar company. They still talk about the 500-year plan. But I would also travel and do some of the coolest random shit, because it's out there. I'm a part of a elite mastermind, whatever. It's called EPX Worldwide, Epics. And it's all about, it's not an expensive mastermind to be in, but they do trips. And it's only been around a couple of years, but the guy who started it is just a total badass. Sold a software company and said, hey, I'm young, but I have money. I have friends. I want to be around other young people that are high achievers and have money that can afford to go do stuff. And they do cool ass trips, man. Like they drive Jeeps across the Sahara Desert, and they took submarines into the blue hole in Belize a couple months ago with Richard Branson. And they heli ski in all these places. They drive Ferraris through the Alps. There's a British Special Forces week that you can go and be in. All these cool ass crazy things. They throw big wild parties with costumes. They do a Burning Man group. Like all this cool shit. He's like, man, I don't want to be 65 before I do all this cool stuff. I want to do it while I'm young with cool people. And he's like, the other side of this is there's astronauts in that group. There's billionaires in that group. There's treasure hunters. There's explorers. There's actors from Game of Thrones in that group. Sir Davos from Game of Thrones is in that group. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not. But like, there's all these high level. I got off a call. It was like a Zoom call like this on Sunday night. They do a virtual meetup because everyone's all over the world. And there were guys on that call. I thought I was involved in some cool stuff. There's a guy who has a $200 million fund that does animated movies out of Dubai. And he's like, look, my next goal is to start a $300 million fund because I want to be able to do, you can't do our movies there. I was like, I want to be able to do everything and do it in the US. There's another guy who has a $100 million cannabis farm, like CBD, all that stuff in Santa Barbara in the wine country. There's another guy who just sold a show for $50 million to some TV network. And then Paul, who started the whole thing, who sold his software company. And he's like, hey, man, we all shared our stuff. And I'm like, he's like, he told me that when I joined, because they interview you. They make sure, like, look, if you just went through a divorce and you're in a terrible place, we can't have you on a private island with 20 other people ruining everybody's time.
Yeah.
You have to be cool enough that you're not going to, weird out the rest of the cool people,
That's right.
So
that's awesome.
He told me in the beginning, like, you'll be at one of these things and you'll be at dinner and you think you're up to some cool stuff, right? We're excited about what we're involved in. He's like, you'll look to your right, and you'll look to your left, and those two conversations that you have over dinner with those two people, your jaw will be on the floor. And you'll just be like, what, bro? There's so many more levels, above what I'm doing.
Yeah.
He's representing this billionaire right now. He does this cool stuff, and it inspires me to just get out of my own crap and go do more cool stuff. Because I watch his Facebook posts. He's representing this billionaire guy who's figured out how to algorithmically find all this buried treasure by looking up different stuff and figuring out where shipping routes. They found Columbus's ship, and they're like, he's representing the billionaire who has like a warehouse full of all this stuff that he's found and dug up. He's got cannons, gold spinning.
Dude, it's awesome.
Crazy crap, right? And Paul is representing that guy to the country of Spain to find a place to house this stuff. And then in that conversation, it was over by Haiti. He's like, we're trying to get Spain to come politely pimp slap Haiti to release all that stuff to us so we can take it over there. I'm like, dude, apartments, amazing, right? We're I'm going to raise 20 to 100 million, probably only 20 million because I don't want to, we cycle our money every 18 months, pretty much refinance. We take it all out plus more, but I don't want to be responsible for $100 million worth of money. 20 is enough. And if 20 is too much, we'll cut it down to 10 or 5.
Yeah.
So we have a great system for apartments. And then so the end of that is I do more travel with awesome people, man.
Yeah.
That's what I think masterminds are really about.
Oh, yeah.
The events aren't about the bullshit we learn from the stage. They're not. They're about hanging out in the hallway, meeting awesome people. Go to those events. Don't even buy the ticket. Just hang out in the hallway. Go to the parties. Go to the dinner. The event, we left an event for Opportunity Zone funds in LA. Me and my buddy, we sat there for 15 minutes, and I was like, this is the crap the lawyers are supposed to do. You hire somebody to know all this junk. Yeah. We left and went and hung with my econ buddies at his freaking mansion and talked shop. I'm like, this is way better than the
way better, yeah.
Spent for that day to be trapped in a room with a bunch of suits. So, yeah, that's my ADD ass answer to that question.
No, that's awesome. I think you'll find this group and get associated with it. I
can send you an invite. I have to invite one person a year in order to. You have to interact. You have to go on one trip. You have to invite one other person to grow the network, and you have to add a piece of information to the online vault. Whatever you're really good at, you have to create either a document or a video that explains, that hack and throw it up into the ether of this group so that somebody else might get value or you might connect and JV on something.
It is awesome.
This guy's a genius, man. Like I'm a fanboy of Paul who started it.
All right, let's see. Okay, so
It's your three letters in the background, EXP, but it's EPX for Epic. Epic's travel, Epic's worldwide.
Okay. Well, man, if people want to reach out to you and talk to you about, bringing money to the fund, doing some apartment deals, whatever, what's the best way? Facebook?
They have to connect with you first, and then, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I definitely need to find a go-between because, I'd say Facebook.
Okay.
I'm toying with Instagram. It's just Dave Marsh on Facebook.
Okay.
I have too many different business opportunities to send them to one website.
Right.
I would give my cell phone number out here, but that could get weird.
Yeah. Facebook Messenger,
you
can vet them.
Facebook, or just my personal email, which is David, middle name James, James, last name Marsh, Marsh, @gmail.com. That's
cool.
I'm always open to connect and have high-level conversations with awesome people. It's pretty exhausting nowadays trying to help all the newbies because taking hours of my day out of my really busy day to have a long conversation with somebody, and then they don't do anything with the information. And I'm like, man,
nuts.
Now you're just taking, and you're not. You don't need to add value to me. But if I give you a lot of my time and you don't do anything with the knowledge I gave to you, now you're just wasting time. You're an energy. At that point, you're an energy vampire because you obviously don't really either. I understand the analysis by paralysis or not taking action, but if you know you're not going to take action with it, then just go on YouTube or listen to a podcast or something because it's almost an insult to me that you don't put enough value in what I just told you.
Right.
Put enough value in taking an hour of my life away that my girlfriend would rather have, or my nephews would rather have, or my business partners would probably rather me get some shit done with.
Yeah, no, I get that. Same thing constantly.
I love talking with you, man. This is fun. This podcasts are kind of cool, man. I get to sit in my own chair at my own house with my cluttered background. That's the next final piece of clutter. So,
well, you'll have to get a back display like me once you get your podcast going as well.
Yeah, I definitely look forward to connecting with you more. Anyways, we could talk offline about that stuff.
Yeah,
This pursuit of freedom. I want to take just that one logo, the Fearless Pursuit of Freedom with the mountains, cut some of the rest of it out and make that a big one.
Well, I got the middle one here for.
Yeah, I can't see that though because your head's in front of me.
Yeah, I know. I should have put that somewhere else or off-centered it.
I give a lot of unsolicited advice. Take it or leave it. It's all good.
It's all good. Well, cool, man. Yeah, thanks for coming on. We'll have to have you back on and talk about probably about some of the apartment things. Be more dialed in. Or
it's all
once
good.
the fund's running, we'll talk about the fund too. Yeah,
so the fund should be. Unfortunately, the fund went sideways in the final hour because this person I was talking about, who's the good old boys club that tried to change all the rules on me. I said, look, you're out of these two deals. I don't need I don't need all the things that you were bringing to the table. I brought you into my world and you tried to torch it by changing the rules at the last minute in the final hour. And so I'm not interested in doing the fund with you either because I don't know, my partners in Cincinnati who are just amazing human beings. They're like, dude, I think we just dodged a big bullet there. 8 months into a business relationship, that's harder to get out of than a marriage. But if you cut it before it actually executes and the money gets wired and the property gets closed,
dodge the bullet.
Yeah. So right on, brother.
Wish I would have known that a few deals here lately, but all right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Cheers. Aloha. Have a good one.
All right, man.